Dana White barely had his foot out of one controversy, and now he's dived headfirst into another one. And this time, it's about his newly founded Power Slap League, which is pretty much what the name suggests. You full-on slap people for money. But White's debatable decisions have attracted a lot of mixed opinions this time. Mixed martial arts is one thing. Now we're pulling a Will Smith on people? The entire point of MMA is that the fighters can defend themselves. They fight each other. It's not just one person delivering full-blown knockouts while the other one stands there motionless. With Power Slap League, there's none of that. There's pretty much nothing the defender can do other than bite down on his mouthguard.
Did you talk about the country and did you talk about what's going on?
Well, we talked about a lot of things. I mean, we talked 3 hours. We talked about, anything from our favorite Rocky movie to...
And pray to the MMA lords that the opponent doesn't break his nose or clock him in the ear. In practically every sport out there, the entire purpose is that there are two opposing teams playing two different parts in guarding their court. But with slap fighting, all you do is stand still and watch while your opponent aims, rotates the hips, and winds up to make you reevaluate your existence for a moment or so. But hey, it's just a slap, right? Pretty sure full-grown trained adults could handle it, right? Well, if you think I'm exaggerating, Courtney Olsen's recent KO will make you change your mind. Courtney recently made headlines after she was knocked out during a match. Her opponent, Sheena Bathory, delivered a devastating slap that sent her crashing backwards to the ground. She was clearly concussed and tried to get up on her feet but lost her balance and did a forward roll on the floor. In an interview after the match,
we've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I don't know what else I need. I just,
Yeah, well, that's a good way to look at it, but, I can figure some things out.
She claimed she would do it again, but she took back her statement later, saying that it was a dumb answer, fueled by all the adrenaline in her body post-match. And here comes the side effects. Olsen had a 2-inch knot under her chin and a migraine for weeks after the slap. She even struggled to swallow and was questioning whether her short-term memory had deteriorated. And if you think that's a one-time occurrence, it's not. Chris Kennedy literally had the life knocked out of him as Thomas slapped him hard enough to make him topple over to the ground.
That's it. Make sure these two don't touch each other.
Oh, for real? That's your job.
100%.
Why did that have to be your job?
He's got guys there, too, that need to help make...
He was unconscious for a certain period of time and couldn't even remember where he was when he finally came back to his senses. In the video, the referee told a barely responsive Kennedy that he had gotten knocked out. Kennedy, who was clearly concussed, started slurring his words, asking the referee how it happened and whether he was in the middle of a match. The sport isn't just logically pointless, but medically too. In fact, neurologists have commented on the dangers of the sport. The sport literally leaves people twitching on the ground. Of course it's dangerous. But hey, don't take my word for it. Dr. Anthony Alessio agrees with me. The human brain isn't meant to get whacked around. The sports neurologist stated that you're literally bashing the brain around on the cervical spine, which acts as a pivot. The constant head jerking will lead to a lot of neck injuries. The impact also risks a contra coup injury, in which the brain will bounce to the direct opposite side from the point of impression. He also commented about how ridiculous it was, saying that people have gotten to the point that they'll risk getting brain injuries while voluntarily getting repeatedly slapped, all for a couple of dollars. What's more, I'm not going off on a ratio here, where getting an impairing injury is a possibility. It's already happened multiple times, with even a fatal injury added to the record, while participating in the Punchdown Gala last year. 46-year-old Artur Walczak, a former MMA fighter and strongman competitor, fell to the ground and went into a medically induced coma. Sadly, he never awoke and died of multi-organ failure, resulting from irreversible damage to the central nervous system.
I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. Listen, we've been very patient in this whole thing and trying to get something done with them. And
the sport could literally be life-threatening, but Dana seems like he's having a field day. He even defended the sport amidst the outroar, with how damaging and deadly chronic traumatic encephalopathy can be with repeated head knocks. It's no wonder people are calling for it to be shut down, but the president of the UFC clearly has no plans to do so, saying that the players receive proper medical attention before and after the match. What's more, he said that if someone has a problem with it, they always have the choice to change the channel. After Dana's recent altercation went viral,
Conor is a southpaw, and Conor hits hard. When he hits people, they go. Floyd's definitely not knocking him out.
With him getting caught slapping his wife in a video, he was already in deep water. But the 53-year-old didn't receive any punishment for his actions, which really didn't come as a surprise. But it was his hypocrisy that rubbed many the wrong way. Dana has often advocated against abuse and said that a man should never raise his hand on a woman.
Floyd should be kicking in this, or why not just open it up and they both have pool noodles? I mean, why not? Why not just go nuts with this and really add everything you can think of?
The man clearly doesn't practice what he preaches. The only consequence he faced was a 1-week debut delay of his infamous Power Slap League, which has been steadily collecting criticisms ever since it aired, with the risk that comes with it. Injury to the arteries, trauma, concussions, and even death, that's no surprise. And that's not just my opinion. Pretty much everyone who has a brain agrees. Yeah, fighters and fans alike express their concerns. The viral KO of Courtney Olsen frightened many viewers, who took to Twitter to voice their doubts. Eric Nixick commented that defense and countering were what made combat sports so great. Slap fighting was just standing there with your hands at your side and taking blunt force trauma to the dome. Pointless. While MMA reporter Danny Segura agreed, stating that in MMA, boxing, or any other combat sport.
And then, so great card tonight.
Thank you.
Killed it in MSG. What comes next after MSG? Like, what's your next big card?
A fight is stopped when a fighter can't intelligently defend themselves. And in the PSL, people aren't allowed to intelligently defend themselves from the start. It's literally there in the rules. David Avalon also said that the sport was sadistic and people were likely to end up with brain damage. MMA fighter Josh Barnett refused to even call it a sport, saying the whole thing was dumb. Fellow MMA fighter Matt Frevola suggested that it would have been better to put all that money into making the UFC a better sport. Fans too had a similar reaction, with many calling the sport garbage and useless. Many tweeted on how the sport was bound to end up injuring people badly, and how the players blindly seemed to be okay with it, while many commented on the dynamics of the show. All the power, no defense, and all of the brain trauma. Overall, the majority of the major fighters are in total opposition to the sport, with fans backing them up, so there's no doubt the PSL should be cancelled. My problem with the Power Slap League is that it leaves no room for defense. It defeats the entire purpose of the sport. Yes, there are rules like no hits to the ears or the chin, but these don't really do much to prevent that trauma-inducing blow that's delivered straight to the face. Not to mention the major injuries that can be received to the nerves from this. Like Danny Segura said, in combat sports, the fight is stopped when the person is no longer able to defend themselves. But with PSL, that opportunity isn't presented in the first place. Keeping the medical and logical aspects of it aside, which is fairly hard to do so, there's also Dana White's actions to consider. The guy clearly has no remorse for his actions, as he was back to promoting his new project days after the video of him striking his wife hit the media. And now the message is clear.
Both times.
So Matt and Rory will be available for you guys to speak to.
As long as he has the power and money to control the UFC, he's pretty much cushioned against any real consequences, including the debut of this ridiculous new sport. That's all from our side about the recent Power Slap League drama. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.